Hello, my little friends from Mother Russia. This is fourth video in this series of manuals, and in this video we will finish the initial configuring of Samba4 Active Directory domain controller installed on Ubuntu 18. After this video you will be able to control your domain controller by GPO and Active Directory services, and also you will be able to configure and manage your DNS server by DNS service in RSAT by DNS utility in RSAT package. Now we are here. Well, let's begin. First of all, we need to authorize on our server. Oops, wrong username. And it will be very bad if one of your services that needs to work for domain controller operate as planned. It will be very bad if any of these servers will start automatically, because each of these services must be started by Samba process. So let's stop, disable, and remove from auto start our services. After we finish this step, we must configure network parameters of our server. Now we use our local router as DNS server, but in previous video we finished Bint9 configuration, so now Bint9 is able to be the local DNS server, and more about it. Our DHCP server will not be able to be integrated in our DNS local DNS zone if we use any DNS server except Bint9. So if you even use Samba internal DNS server, you will be not able to operate and integrate the DHCP server in your local zone. So we must here set our domain controller IP address where DNS server is installed, and the IP address of our domain controller is 1.100. Ctrl O to save, Ctrl X to close. And now we must edit add resolve.conf file and set here our DNS server and domain controller IP address. Now it's time to configure Kerberos. everything that we need to do to configure Kerberos is just a copy file that was created during domain provisioning in second step of this series of manuals, and copy it to the etc folder. Now let's try to see, does it work? Yes, we received the current catalogs of our domain controller. It's available on it. Now let's try to authorize in netlogon folder with our administrator account. This is domain administrator account. We set password for this account during provisioning of domain controller in second step of this series of manuals. Yes, and here is the password expired because too much days passed from we configured our domain controller, provisioning our domain controller. Let's change password sudo smb pswd user and let's try again. Everything works perfectly, like on the picture. Now let's check some DNS records. The SRV record of LDAP is resolved to agdc1.adminguide.lan. This is an address of, this is name, the full name of our domain controller. It works as expected. Now let's check SRV record for Kerberos UDP. It's also resolved to agdc1.adminguide.lan, and everything works as expected. Now let's check an A record for agdc1.adminguide.lan, and it resolved to our IP address, local IP address. Now let's try to authorize as administrator in our domain controller. Everything works right. Now let's look Kerberos cache. What tickets we have here? Yes, we have ticket of our record. Now we can add and remove our computers in to this domain. Let's check, does this workstation already added to the domain? No, it's not. So let's add it to the main controller. It asks password. Okay, and welcome to our domain admin guide.lan. Press OK and reboot. I will pause the video for this moment and we will continue after everything will boot. So, and again, the workstation has rebooted and let's check it. First of all, let's download rsat package. And while it's downloaded, let's look to our, oh, maybe it's already downloaded earlier. Oh, let's look. Here is our workstation in our domain. Here we can see the static configuration to use our router as gateway and our domain controller as DNS server. And by the way, I remembered it is not standard router, it's Untangle appliance, because all this stand where our environment is live is fully created on virtual environment, like not like it's ESXi7. So here the rsat finished to download. It's already installed. Here you can see, wrong. We need not this, we need Active Directory, users and computers. Here it is. Here is our domain. Let's create a new user. Let's just copy administrator. And let's try to authenticate with this user in our domain controller now. This is not user that we created, this is a Linux user. And now let's see, let's init administrator, everything okay, and let's now init admin guide ru and everything. Let's try to authenticate with user that does not exist. For example, admin guide ru to not found in Kerberos database. And now let's just create another user with this name. Admin guide ru to and let's everything is okay. So we added this machine to domain controller. With help of rsat we can edit Active Directory. And now let's try DNS. And by the way, you don't have any problems while using GPO already. Here is our forest and default domain controller policy. If you create something here, it will be replicated to all machines. And here is our DNS server. Here is our DNS zone, and for example, let's try to ping something from our computer and from DNS server. Nothing's found. Nothing found. And now let's create this host. For example, let it point to this machine. Its IP address is 137. So and now let's test. Here you can see everything works fine. So this computer, our DNS server resolved IP address, but here we can some restriction. And everything works fine. So press like, share this video, subscribe, and see you in the next video. And this video will be, let's look what video it will be. And this will be the DHCP server for Linux ADDC Ubuntu 18. In that video we will configure integration of the DHCP server with our DNS server, so we will be able ping hosts in our local network by using of their DNS names. So see you in the next video.